Hello and welcome to a Minecraft 4-H Basics. Today we're going to go through some of the creatures that you will find in the game so you can get familiar with them, understand what kind of things they can provide you, and which ones will try and attack you, and then which ones will be friendly. So the first creature we've got here is a pig. And a pig, if you punch it enough, will end up dropping a pork chop, which is good to eat. Next up is a chicken, and a chicken does something that a lot of the other mobs do not, and that is while they're walking around, they will just drop eggs on the ground. And an egg is this thing over here on the right, and eggs have some neat properties for you to play around with and find out about. But if you punch a chicken enough, the chicken will die, and he will give you usually some raw chicken and sometimes also a feather as materials that you can use in other things. So next up is a sheep, and the most common color of sheep that you'll find is white. And if you punch a sheep, what you'll get out of a sheep is white wool. So on the back wall here we've got some wool blocks, and these are the commonly naturally occurring wool colors that you can find while running around in the Minecraft world. However, you can also dye sheep. So one of the neat things you can do, and here's Yorkshire Heart, she's got some color in her hand, is you can use color on a sheep and actually change the color of the sheep. And that means when you then get the wool from the sheep, it will be that color. And later on when we get into breeding, you'll see that there are some neat things that you can do while breeding colored sheep together. The other thing you can do, which is what Yorkshire Heart just did, is instead of punching the sheep and killing it, you can actually shear it. You can create some shears and take the wool right off of the sheep. So the sheep stays alive. Eventually, if it can get to grass, it'll eat some grass, like this right here, and then it will grow its wool back, and you can get it back again. Alright, next up we've got a cow. And cows, if you take a bucket up to a cow, and you right-click that bucket on the cow, what you'll get is a bucket of milk, which can be used in some cooking recipes to make various different foods. The other thing that a cow will give you is if you punch a cow, you'll get some raw beef and some leather. And leather can be used to make armors, and it can also be used, it's used in a variety of other recipes, but it can also be used to make books and things like that. The next one is a special cow, and these are very rare. These can be very hard to find. They're normally only on mushroom islands, but this right here is a mooshroom. So it's kind of hard to see, but it's a cow with mushrooms sticking out of it, and it's kind of colored like a mushroom. The neat thing about a mooshroom is if you take a wooden bowl, a lot like you can with a regular cow, and you right-click a wooden bowl onto a mooshroom, the mooshroom will give you a bowl of mushroom soup, which you can just eat right away. But just like the cow, if you punch a mooshroom, you will end up getting leather and some raw beef. Next up is a wolf. Wolf are very common in forests, and wolves you can tame. You can actually have wolves as your pets, and we'll get into in the future on how to do that and how to get a wolf to follow you around and be your pet. Next up is the ocelot. Ocelots are only found in the jungle, and you can see there's a bunch of other ocelots down there. Ocelots are a type of cat, and so cats, a lot like wolves, you can also tame, and they will become your pets. And there are 3 types of tamed ocelots. And they become regular kitties. So there's 3 types of kitties, 3 different colors, and those you can explore on your own later on. One of the neatest things about tamed cats is that tamed cats, if you tame them with a fish, will actually scare away creepers. So creepers are scared of tamed cats. Alright, next up is a villager. The villager is normally found only in villages, and if you do find them, a lot of times you'll want to protect them, build some, definitely make sure their villages are all lit up and make sure they got some walls around them, because zombies really like attacking and killing villagers. But if you talk to a villager, so if you right-click on a villager, you'll get this little interface right here where you can trade things to the villager back and forth. So you could, for example, some of the villagers will give you the money that they like are called emeralds, and so sometimes they'll take emeralds and give you various tools, or sometimes you can give them things like fish or wheat, and they'll give you emeralds in exchange. And then this last one is a squid. It's the last of the friendly creatures, and squids only spawn in the water, so they'll only show up in water, as for example out in the ocean. So you'll need to find an ocean to find some squids. And when you punch a squid, they're very valuable because they drop this thing right here, which is called an ink sac. And an ink sac is the only way to get black dye. So that's how you can dye your wool and other things black, is by punching some squids and getting some black ink sacs. Next up, we've got the hostile mobs, or the ones that try and punch you. So the first one, and probably the most dangerous one, is this guy right here, and his name is a creeper. And the reason he's called a creeper is because he can creep up on you. He's very, very quiet, and then he likes to blow up. So on a normal Minecraft server, when he blows up, he will blow up like a block of TNT. And he will do a lot of damage. On this server, though, because that's a little difficult to handle when you've got a lot of people on the server, we turned off the ability for the creepers to actually blow up the environment, so the dirt and the stone and all that kind of stuff. Creepers still can blow you up, though, so you do definitely want to be careful of them. If you punch a creeper enough, though, and you kill him, he will drop a piece of gunpowder. Alright, next up, we've got the zombie. And zombies are slow, and they make a groaning noise, and they're pretty annoying. They like to beat on wood doors. They make a lot of noise, so if you've got a wood door that's not very well lit with some candles or something like that, and some torches, he will definitely come over and beat on them. If you punch a zombie enough, then he will drop some rotten meat, and rotten meat really isn't good for much of anything. If you eat it, you will definitely get sick. Although you can feed it to your dog. So if you have a pet dog, you can feed them the rotten meat to a pet dog, and that will actually heal him. Alright, next up, we've got a skeleton, or as Yorkshire Hart and Corellis like to call them, these are bow baddies. And bow baddies are pretty much just straight up skeletons, except they've got a bow, and so they like to shoot arrows at you from far away. And if you punch a skeleton enough, he will usually drop a bone, which you can use to create bone meal, which also can be used to dye things a white color. And then he will usually also drop some arrows. Every now and then, the skeleton will also drop a bow. Sometimes they're even enchanted. It's a little more rare, though. Next up is the spider. And there are several different types of spiders in the world. Oh, there he goes. He's gone. So there's the big spider, which is in the overworld, and then there's a slightly smaller spider, which can show up in dungeons. And a spider can climb up walls. So spiders are pretty spiders are pretty dangerous because they can climb. There's a cave spider. So he's a little smaller and a little blue. And he can also poison you. The regular spiders just hurt you. So if you punch a spider enough, he will give you some string and sometimes a spider eye, which you can use to make potions. Now, once in a while, the spider and the skeleton will get together, and they will basically form a team, and it's a pretty rare occurrence, and that is called a spider jockey. And so here we've got a spider jockey that Yorkshire Hart just created for us to look at, and they will race around the world. They're very fast, and they will chase you and try and punch you. Now, but it's pretty funny to look at. Okay, next up, we've got the slime. Slimes, the slimes, they love to jump, and they normally are only seen underground. So it's very, very deep down in caves. They just do not want to stay put on those poles. Now, normally a slime is pretty easy to deal with. They don't move very fast. One of the nice things about slimes, though, is they drop these slime balls, which can be used to make sticky pistons. So if you want to make sticky pistons, which are a neat way to move things around the world, you definitely need to dig way down in the ground and find yourself some slimes. Now, one of the interesting things about slimes is they split. So if I take a sword and I punch this guy, you'll see he actually, instead of just dying, he split into two smaller slimes. And so it's not until you get to the very small slimes that they actually then stay all the way dead. And there's some slime balls for us. Alright. Now the last type is the Enderman. And the Enderman is a scary, scary mob. Now one thing about the Enderman that's a little different from all the other ones is the Enderman normally doesn't attack you unless you look at him. So if you look at him, that's when he becomes very nervous, and that's when he becomes angry. As long as you don't, so your little cursor, the little plus sign in the middle of the screen, as long as that doesn't stay hovering over the Enderman for a while, then he won't bother you at all. Whoa, that's a lot of Enderman. Okay, now let's make one of them angry to show how he teleports around. Whoa. That's a lot of Enderman. See, he disappeared, and oh, here he comes. He likes to sneak up from behind. Definitely be careful of the Enderman, and just try and avoid looking at him. That's the easiest way. Oh boy, that's the easiest way to stay protected from Enderman.